Hey, what's up YouTube? This is Josh from Team Crescent back again with another discussion video. Today's topic I wanted to talk about was actually Evilswarms. I look at Evilswarms as the deck. They only got 2 places in top 32 and no places in top 16. It's really concerning to me to see that a deck that locks down so many matchups and a deck that actually may have a good matchup against most of the decks that did top, as well as a card that protects them from all spell and trap cards, didn't do as well as I hoped they would. And I ponder upon myself. For those of you guys who don't know, I actually did play Evil Storm's last format. And I thought that they were a pretty good deck, a very good budget deck for any Yu-Gi-Oh player. And I'm just wondering, they weren't hit much by the ban list besides Rabbit. And I'll talk about Rabbit later, but I just kind of curious to see why they aren't doing as well as I thought they were going to do in the beginning of the format. Mega Capital G actually posted up a video on why Evil Storms were going to win YCS Toronto, and I actually thought that they had an amazing matchup. But I had to diagnose, take a step back a little bit, and these are the reasons that I came up with that. Evil Swarms weren't doing as well in YCS Toronto, or aren't very nicely matched up compared to the rest of the meta. So, with that said, let's all go ahead and get started. All right. So, reason number one being quoted exactly from Deck Silent Enigma. Evil Storms are only as good as their matchups. If the meta and the matchups that they're going up against are not special summoning level 5 or higher monsters, if they are not back row heavy decks, then Evilswarm are going to have a pretty tough time. And I predicted early on in the format that this was going to be a level 4 format. And so far, it seems that I'm pretty wrong. But, I expected for Harpies to be a deck. I expected for Fire Fist to be a deck. I expected for Infernities, Medolches. I thought those were going to be, like, the biggest contenders. And to be honest, Evil Swarms don't have that great of a matchup against them, and although they didn't do too well at the top, seeing how YCS Toronto was sort of the experimental phase of like determining what the meta was, I assumed that Evil Swarms had to bump into that problem once or twice, at least in their matchups, and that's why they didn't really get that great of a showing. Once again, I don't think that the deck is bad. I think that they weren't given the correct chance or the opportunity to shine against the matchups that they should have. Now, moving on to my second reason, I feel that Evil Storms are a very, very slow deck. And the reason why I say that is because they have no draw power aside from the card Allure of Darkness. It utilizes too much normal summoning and not enough special summoning. I've been testing Evil Storms using Tour Guides, Dark Arm Dragon, and stuff like that, just so that I can like access my deck, increase speed in my deck. And I mean, I'm not getting the and like if you just use the regular Cataster, Kirkion, Thunderbird, Madrigal, you're not going to have an easy time because you're always negging cards from your hand to bring out the beaters from your extra deck. And it's a very one-dimensional deck. So the problem is that like you are really just like slowly getting to your plays, and then once you get it, you have to sit on it. And speaking of which, your boss monster is only 2550, so it's not that hard to beat over. I look at like Agents, who has a 2800 beater, Mermils, who can go into Abyss Giles, who has a 2800 beater, even Blaster has 28, and like I'm pretty sure that that's going to be the standard now. It's just like I heard a YouTuber say recently that 26 was the new standard, not 2550. And since Ophion doesn't have that much attack stat for a card that you're relying on protecting, it's not that great of a card to rely on. So combined with the fact that there isn't too much speed in the deck, having a beater with very low attack isn't necessarily going to cut it for a current meta deck. Lastly, the deck's very defensive over offensive. Ophion solves it doesn't okay. Ophion doesn't solve problems. It prevents problems. Key Beetle Lock using Vanity's Emptiness saves them. Once again, it sort of creates a barrier for your opponent. It doesn't solve any situation that you're getting out of. Epidemic Eradication Virus. It prevents your opponent from using spell or trap cards. All of these cards, they're really really good at preventing your opponent from having these combinations. However, they're not reactive to anything, which is why your trap lineup is so crucial. But since a majority of your trap lineup got hit, it's really difficult for you to play out what you need to play out. So briefly going over, guys, real quickly, I think that Evil Storms are a really, really good deck. It's just that, like, compared to the rest of the deck that we see this format, they're only as good as their matchup. And like I already said, diversity is going to be a thing this format. And you're not just going to see Mermail, you're not just going to see Dragons, and you're not just going to see Prophecies. And with all the other level 4 decks who don't need these big beaters who are multi-level, you're not going to have a good time. Secondly, it's way too slow. No draw power, very little special summoning from the deck, and you actually have to normal summon to access your extra deck. And your boss monster is only 2550, so if you don't have that big of a beater and your deck is really slow, you're going to run into problems. And lastly, it's a defensive deck. It's not really a deck that can react to any situation. You're not going to be playing out of situations. You're preventing situations so you don't have to play out of them later. So yeah, guys. With that said, I do think that evil storms are going to be a thing. Expect the deck profile of my evil storm sooner or later, maybe 2 weeks away. I'm still working to find a very consistent build, and I'm working to see what kind of extra deck. So if you guys have any suggestions, by all means, please let me know in the comment section below. How can evil storms get better? What needs to happen to the meta, and what kind of side deck cards and what kind of extra deck cards do we need to use in order to prevent our matchups from getting worse and worse? Because it looks like with dragons are being a thing, and like Blaster is just a problem card that Evil Sons have had forever. And like Mermeals easily walk all over us with a Visfear and Lyn. Um, but I mean, we're gonna have to find a way to make the deck faster. We have to find a way to make it like something that what I think what needs to happen for Evil Storm to get good is that number one, we need to find a very consistent build, and secondly, we have to find something that we can fall back on when our plan A, which is to get Ophion slash Key Beetle out, doesn't work. So yeah, guys, that's the video. Thumbs up if you guys like the video. We love thumbs up. Please let us know in the comment section below what you think. Are Evil Storms good? Are they trash? How can we make it better? And lastly, subscribe for more videos, guys. We really like viewers, and we're happy that our content is being watched. So yeah, with that said, this is Josh Tran from Team Crescent, signing out.